friends, welcome back again. Spring is springing here in Maine, sort of. We are in what's currently called mud season, so it's a little dreary, a little rainy, and all the snow's melting into gross puddles. So I wanted to think ahead and think about the spring that will be here in a few weeks, hopefully. And one of the questions that I get a lot of times this time of year when people are thinking about doing cleanses, doing resets, starting over, because it just kind of naturally feels good as you go into spring after being in hibernation mode, heavy food mode all winter, is how do you start? Because oh my God, if you dig into all the things we should change, it's overwhelming and you lose motivation and you're like, there's no way I can ever change every single product in my house to be healthy. Oh my God, what do I do? So I wanted to do a little bit on that and talk about some of the ways you can make small incremental changes slowly so that you're not overwhelmed and you succeed with the change. Because as we all know, New Year's resolutions are junk. Like by the next week, we've already burned out at the gym because we said we were going to lose 20 pounds in a month, and we go to the gym every day for 5 days straight when we haven't gone in 6 months, and our bodies are like, whoa, I can't do this. So that's not the best plan. Like I say in a lot of my exercise classes, consistency over intensity, and that's very true when it comes to lifestyle change. So beyond being a Pilates teacher, I am also working on a master's degree in clinical nutrition, and so we talk a lot about America and our lifestyle and our foods and all of the fun things that we eat and all the fun things that we eat that we shouldn't be eating, but we do anyway. And no one is perfect. So even if you go on this journey and you slip up and you want Oreos one night, it's not the end of the world. Don't let people scare you. Every now and then, in moderation, treats are fine. So if we get into a mindset of deprivation, which if you are anywhere near my age, I'm 41, and you grew up in the 1990s, that was diet culture in the 90s, deprivation of everything. That's not the right mindset for a long-term success. It's just not. Our brains just literally can't handle that, neither can our bodies. So here are some easy things you can do to start implementing change if you're interested in doing so. The first thing my husband and I started doing is we started shopping the perimeter of the store. So if you know what I mean, you walk in and you know the perimeter is usually veggies and fruit, bakery, hopefully fresh baked, and then you move over into the meat department and then over into dairy and more dairy at the end. Usually there's a lot of dairy. And then in the middle are all the foods that are shelf stable. Not that all of these are bad. I live for peanut butter because of how much I have to get my protein intake in. Peanut butter is some of the only ways I can do it, sometimes on the go. So things like that are fine. But generally speaking, if you stay away from the things in the middle of the store, there's less preservatives, there's less additives, less junk added to the food to make it shelf stable. That's the easiest thing you can do. Start there. If you do have a craving, let's say I like crunchy food. That's a thing for me. So what I did is I bought a bunch of apples and thin sliced them on a mandolin and then put cinnamon sugar on them and baked them in the oven for 4 hours on 200 degrees to dehydrate them, and made apple chips. So I can get my sweet and my crunchy fix at the same time in a healthy way that doesn't have preservatives or junk in it, and I'm getting a lot of nutrition from the apples. So it's things like that. Don't start off throwing out everything in your pantry and trying to start over with healthy options. You've got to train your palate to go that direction. If you've been eating a lot of things from the middle of the store, the fresh things may not taste great at first. They're not gonna be the right substitutes. It's just not gonna fulfill you. So work there slowly. That's one of the first things you can do. And eat whole foods as much as possible. Not eat at Whole Foods because you will have no money. They are expensive. I love going there, don't get me wrong. It's right near one of the Pilates studios I go to in Portland, and I love it, but they call it Whole Paycheck for a reason. You do not have to go there. But when you're eating, eat whole foods. So instead of eating, let's say instead of making a pasta casserole for dinner with a cheesy sauce and not really any vegetables, maybe some thrown in there, do baked chicken with a sweet potato and broccoli and season it up at first. Like, make it taste good. Do what you gotta do to make it taste good, and then slowly back off a little bit to be more healthy. That's one of the best successful ways we trained ourselves to eat like that. And you feel better when you eat whole foods. Later down the line, I'll talk about the reset diet that I do every spring, and it's whole foods based. I love it. It's absolutely amazing. So you do feel better when you're eating like that. The next thing we do is we found a wonderful CSA share. If there's any in your area, the more local, the better. We lucked out and have one 10 minutes from our house that is certified organic, and they're amazing people, and their prices are epic if you're in the Western Maine area. I saw yesterday they still have room for the CSA this year. It's New Spoke Farms. Actually, I think they have drop-offs in Falmouth too, so if you're down in Southern Maine, you might be able to get in on it as well. They literally pick the things that morning, and I have to wash them. They don't even wash them. Like, my potatoes that I get from them have dirt on them still. They're so fresh. The taste difference is amazing. So if you have an onion from the store and an onion from our CSA and you cut into it, you're gonna cry so fast with that onion from the CSA because of all the compounds in it that are so fresh. It kind of spoils us during the summer because we get that every week, and then we go to the store and just fill in what we need to make meals. But they have beets, they have everything. So if you can find a good CSA, that's a great way to try things too that you may not buy in the store because it just kind of comes with your CSA and you're like, oh, well, I need to eat it. And so you look up recipes. Great way to introduce new things into your palate, and it's super healthy. Another thing you could have, if you have the space, or even if you even just have a patio, do a little pot garden, like container gardening thing. Or if you have a big yard, do a full garden and grow things that are super easy to grow. Like if you live in the South, grow tomatoes and cucumbers. So easy. I've tried growing tomatoes up here. I have not been successful at it yet. But try things that are easy to grow, and that might help get your kids interested in it if they're not. Sometimes seeing it grow and then eating it makes a connection in their brain that's really cool, and then they're interested in the foods more and they're more willing to try new foods. If you're using seed oils, sunflower oil, etc., to cook, swap that out for a real olive oil, not one that has anything added to it like canola oil, but real olive oil, butter, beef tallow. I know if you grew up in the 90s, you think these things are evil. They are not. We're finding out, research emerging is showing that the seed oils are actually inflammatory. So it's better for us if we have the whole oils. Our bodies can actually use those. So I won't go into the science behind that, but that's an easy swap too. And it actually tastes better. Organic when you can, but we can't always. And with the way things are changing in our economy, I don't know that in Maine I'll be able to get strawberries in February anymore next year. And eat seasonally. It will save you money. So if you eat a lot of root vegetables in the winter, a lot of fruits in the summer, and you kind of flow with what's in season, your body will naturally want to do that if you listen to it. Once we started listening to our bodies and they were saying, hey, during the winter, we want a lot of root vegetables, a little heavier meals. And then in the spring, about now, I naturally start not wanting that anymore, and I want to switch to more fresh foods, more lighter foods, more springy foods. So that'll save you money too, because things that are in season are cheaper. If you buy pineapple in January, it's super expensive because they're shipping it from God knows where to get to you, especially if you live in Maine. So that's one way to make easy swaps, is to try to eat seasonally and eat organic when you can and when you can afford it. I'll do a video later on the Dirty Dozen that if you are going to eat organic, sometimes these are the best ones to do, but that's a whole video unto itself. Move. Even just walking around the block, just move your body. The sedentary lifestyle we live in America is becoming one of the biggest health challenges we are facing. We're talking about this in my nutritional classes. We're seeing so much metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, osteoporosis, so many things that maybe can't be totally prevented by movement, but movement would certainly help the situation, especially if you start early. So even if it's just now that it's getting light later and a little warmer where I am, take a walk after dinner. 10 minutes around the block. It's been proven it will help with insulin control if you take a walk after you eat. Start there. And I also really encourage group exercise classes, even if it's just a meditation yoga class and you're barely moving, you're just breathing, that's still moving. Your body's still working. For the social aspect of it, because that's another thing, and this is a worldwide problem now with screens and web-based activities after COVID. There's a connection that you get when you go to a class. Like, I go to the same Wednesday night yoga class after I teach Pilates all the time. You get to know the people in your class and you make connections, and nothing can replace real life connections. Your mental health depends on this. So a hobby, a movement, something, a group, something, find something to do that you enjoy or explore, try some new things, meet some new people. That will help you mentally, which will help you physically. It's all tied together. You know, like I was saying, take time away from screens. We've started doing at night, my husband and I will do, you know, like a 10-minute wind down yoga session and then read in bed instead of looking at our phones, and our sleep is so much better. Getting away from the screens, because I'm literally staring into one right now while I record this, but we need breaks and we're not getting them because we're at work all day looking at computers. We're coming home and we're on our phones and we're watching TV and we're not connecting with those around us anymore. We need that as human beings. So that's another way you can just make a little tweak, and maybe just 10 minutes a day to start, where you're not looking at your phone and you're talking to your spouse, talking to your kids, even if you do dinner with no phones, something like that, and let it grow from there. Your emotional health will get better, your mental health will get better, and your eyes will thank you too, because they need a break from the blue screens too. So those are some easy swaps that I have. Pick one, start with one, don't start with all of them, because that will not lead to success. That will lead to overwhelm. We have busy lives here in America, and we need to be able to make small changes for them to be consistent. Again, consistency over intensity. But thank you for joining me today. This one is a little bit of a long one. You can find me on social, on Instagram and Facebook at Blissful Balance Pilates and Wellness, on my YouTube channel where this will be posted, my website, blissfulbalancepilates.com. And I'm also in person on Thursday nights from 6 to 7 at the August Room, which is where I'm filming from, in South Paris, Maine. And then I teach at Chilosophy currently on Mondays at 12 and Wednesdays at 5:30. That does change, so if you want to find me at Chilosophy, check their website out and make sure that hasn't changed. It's a little seasonal up there on what we do and when we teach. I also do private, semi-private, and group lessons online, or if you're in Western, Central, or Southern Maine, I can probably do one in person if you'd prefer. Feel free to reach out and connect with me on my website. I have a free 20-minute discovery call link on there if you want to just chat with me and see if we would be a good fit to work together. I'd love to work with you. And again, this is not medical advice. Make sure you talk to your doctor and your medical team before you make any major changes, add supplements, add activity, start a new exercise regimen, anything like that, to make sure that it's the right fit for you and for where you're at in life. I hope you have a great day and a happy spring, and I'll see everyone soon.